This is Special Chronicles, giving respect and a voice to people with special needs.
Welcome to the Special Chronicles podcast, where we're giving respect and voice to people with special needs. I'm your host, Daniel Smrokowski. Today, we're coming to you live from the 2025 Speak Up, Speak Out Summit here in Normal, Illinois. And joining us right now at our podcast booth, probably the last episode for this day one. It's been a long day of live podcast coverage, but we had to have you both on. April, McHenry and Leanne. Do you want to introduce yourself and just before we start recording, April, what I think our listeners are going to be excited to hear from you that you were at the first Speak Up and Speak Out. So introduce both of yourselves to our listeners.
My name is April McHenry, and I live in Dawson, and I go to a workshop in Chicago Heights.
Oh, okay. And do you remember 20 years ago, we came to the first Speak Up, Speak Out. And were we able to stay overnight?
No,
Why couldn't we stay overnight?
we didn't have no nurse to pat my back.
Yep. We couldn't stay overnight because there was nobody was medication certified. I was not medication certified yet. And so we couldn't stay over. We had to go home because there was no one to pass meds. And because that happened with April, for the last 19 years, there has been a nurse here at Speak Up, Speak Out to pass meds.
Because of that first
time in April.
Awesome. So can you can you both just take our listeners back to, because we're in 2025 was celebrating 20 years of Speak Up, Speak Out. Well, not the elk of Illinois is celebrating. Yeah. And so can you both take us back to 20 years ago and then just over the past 20 years, just what was that full Speak Up and Speak Out summit like? Like what was that experience like? And
It's like you come to speak up for other people because other people can't speak up for themselves, and you help them because they could get something and they might not know how to ask staff for it, and staff could say no, but you had to be there to learn how to communicate with them.
And back then, we were at the Crown Plaza Hotel, and there were 130 people. And we were in groups. They put us in group by sticker color, and we moved from room to room to room for different sessions. So the speakers all stayed in the rooms, and we all moved to the different rooms. That's what I remember.
Awesome. And then over the years, how have you both, like, what's been some of the changes? What have you guys both have seen over the years?
It's over the years. It's been okay coming here, seeing new people who we never saw, talk to them, eating with them, get to know what country they came from, and enjoy yourself.
Awesome.
So I can remember some stuff. When we first started coming, April had to room with me because the agency just wasn't used to people staying over in hotels or anything. And so April had to room with me, and we were just together all the time. And how many have you come to? Do you know about how many? So I think with me, we at least 10, and I've been to most of them. And you go virtually if you're not here, right? Mm-hmm. Is virtual as much fun as in person?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't think so.
No. So speaking of virtual, in 2020, the elk gave me the self-advocacy award, which I didn't expect, and then I gave a keynote a keynote speech. I don't know if in 2020, and so this is doing this live coverage here. This is my first time in person, but so it was a different speaking virtually is a lot different than being here in person. So it's
You're doing a good job.
Thank you. Yeah, it's nice that they give us the virtual option, but to see the like I was just talking with Zach Anno, who was the keynote speaker this year, and the word which I'm going to ask you guys at the end of our conversation today for one word to describe the Speak Up and Speak Out Summit, but the word that Zach said was I know. Let me drop in my notes was. I believe it was energizing.
Yes.
And that's just one of many words. I mean, I when Zach was speaking on stage, I took like 5 pages of notes, just because, like, just hearing speakers like Zach. And if our listeners do, like, I bought his book just so he could sign his like he signed his book, and so like definitely like reading Zach's book, hearing speakers from Zach and Ava, who spoke over lunch. Ava and her parents even stopped by our podcast booth as well. Hearing these stories is energizing and empowering for our disability community, but also I think for the mainstream community as well. What have you both learned from attending this conference, whether it's this year or just
This year
over the past 20 years?
This year is fun. Last year is not good for everybody.
Well, one of the things that we learned is that self-advocates need to be in the lead for this conference. And so about 10 years ago, we made sure that every moderator in every session was a self-advocate, and that there's a self-advocate in every single presentation. Because as I talked about this morning, when we started, like, we had outside speakers came in, and it was a bunch of professionals talking about stuff. And there were some self-advocates involved, but then about, I'm trying to think, probably 10 years ago, we said, nope, there's got to be a self-advocate in every session, self-advocate moderators, whatever support they need to moderate. And so since then, people have really gotten involved. The planning committee, it started with parents who wanted healthy snacks. And now it's self-advocates.
Awesome. I love that. I don't know if you guys met Z, whose booth is down there.
My hat.
So yeah, your hat. So Z and I are both Special Olympics athletes employed by United Airlines, and something that, and like, we have a once a year like this training, this training summit for all the service ambassadors across all the hubs. But something, and I have to be careful of what I say on air, but something that I think, and I hopefully colleagues at United Airlines and other companies can learn from this Speak Up and Speak Out Summit is to have us self-advocates like Z, like myself, like April, like to have us at like, whether you're looking at United Airlines or any job or company, have us be part of the planning of the training, because that's something that, to be fully honest, and I hope if anybody from our human resources is listening, to like that, I don't say this to no offense, but to help to bring include, because like what you guys are doing at the Speak Up and Speak Out Summit is what I hope that more companies can learn from.
Right.
have us to help in planning
Right.
the training, planning these events. And so is that something that you guys have found that other companies, other organizations can learn from?
Yeah, they can learn. I learn. I know how to do. I learn. Everybody can learn and know how to do it. If they take their patience and they can do it.
And some organizations figure out that it's a lot better to have people involved in the planning than during whatever event it is having to go, oh man, why didn't we think of that? Why didn't we think about how wide the doors are? Why didn't we think about whether people can hear, whether people can read what's on a slide deck, whether things are understandable, using microphones, whether everybody needs them or not. All of those things, if they include people with disabilities in planning, then we don't have to have a bunch of oops.
Yeah.
And we learned more. We learned more every year.
Yeah.
Has been better and better.
Well, speaking to that, as a Southern Tribal Global Messenger with Special Olympics, at the World Games in Berlin, so I was one of 10 athlete leaders that spoke on behalf of Special Olympics movement across the globe, and something that that they had, like whether it was the app for the games or the website or any of the events, it was all within, well, just like you could translate in different languages, you could translate any of the written stuff for the World Games in an easy language. And that's not something that I think it's done a lot now, but like for people like April, like you and myself and the other self-advocates here, if it's just like you translated in Spanish or French or any other language, if we can translate the whether it's at a conference or any event or even a meeting, translate it in an easy language, that's something that I think is also powerful to help us to be able to because like if we're sitting in these meetings and not understanding, but if it's in an easy language, I don't know if you guys want to comment on that easy language.
Well, and if it's in easy language, that makes it easier for everybody, not just people with disabilities. Yeah. Just like if it's a bigger font, people get older, they have to wear glasses, that helps. It's called universal design, and it helps everybody.
Yeah. Well, just like with a lot of the wheelchairs with the curb cuts and all that. What keeps you both? I was going to ask what brought you guys to the summit, but since you guys have been here since the beginning, what brings you back to the Speak Up and Speak Out Summit every year for the past 20 years?
What it brings me back to that summit is to see everything gonna change with people don't have something. Everything gonna change, and we gonna stay free.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
we're gonna stay free.
Yeah.
Yes. I keep coming back because this is my most favorite conference of the entire year. And even if I'm not here in person, I'm on virtual because it's so fabulous. Awesome. And I get to see all my friends like April. Awesome.
And what do you hope that self-advocates will, both of the hundreds that are at this conference, what do you hope that the self-advocates will bring back to their communities?
They go talk to their president who has the guy, and go talk to them and see if they can make a change.
Yeah, that they can go back to their communities and work together to make a change. That's why we had regional meetings, so that people could get to know people in their regions and reconnect with people and figure out some things that they can do in their regions, because up in Chicago, it's different than down here in central Illinois where we are. And so that's the big hope.
Awesome. And I'm sure, where you're able to connect and heal from each other and help each other out. What do you hope to, both for yourselves and for the hundreds that are attending this conference, what do you both hope to take away from the Speak Up and Speak Out Summit?
Then go to the workshop, tell them about it, and speak out.
And coming this year, I don't want to tear up, but coming this year, as Zach said, it's energizing, and it gives me hope.
Awesome. Yeah, I love that. And I'm sure, hopefully, we've got a lot of people in our disability community that tune into this podcast, but also a lot of people in the mainstream community. So I hope for all of our mainstream listeners that are tuning in, that they can learn to not to put us on the sidelines, but that our voices are all being heard, and that they can listen to us.
Absolutely.
A few final wrap-up questions before I think dinner is probably pretty soon, and we've got some other evening activities.
Oh yeah, dinner and the dance.
Yes. Why is it important for self-advocates like April, you, myself, and the hundreds here? Why is it important to have our voices heard?
Because nobody will not know what you want, and they can't read mine in your head.
Nobody would know what you want because they can't read your mind. Yep,
Awesome.
Then that is exactly it, isn't it?
Awesome. That's the perfect way. Yeah. Perfect message.
Perfect message.
Did you want to add to that message, or is that?
No, I think that's
that sums
perfect.
Sums it up.
Yep.
Okay. Two final wrap-up questions here. You heard me mention it when I told you Zach's word, but now for both of you, if you could describe the Speak Up and Speak Out Summit in one word, what would it be? I know it's difficult, but if you guys could both describe this conference in one word, what would it be?
I'll say community.
One
word?
One word?
What other? Are you having fun?
Yeah.
Fun?
Fun is a word?
Yeah.
I like them have to dance.
Awesome.
The dance.
Awesome.
Yep.
Community and fun. Yeah, two perfect words that fit perfectly with Zach's word and energizing. I forgot some of the other words, but we'll have to go back on. Yeah. Anyways, what's for those of you listening? I'm sure a lot of our listeners are gonna hear and see the excitement on this podcast, because like a lot of these guests, like to hear the excitement, they're gonna want to hopefully come to next year's conference. What's a message that you both hope for those listening to this podcast couldn't be you today that you want to share that really sums up this whole Speak Up and Speak Out Summit? What's a message that you want to share?
You want me to go first? I would say that everyone is welcome. If it's in person, do your best to come in person. You can reach out to the Arc of Illinois if you have questions about it. And because we start planning like a month after this. We start planning and talking about the next one. If you can come virtually, if you can't come in person, but you can come virtually, do that and reach out and get involved throughout the year. Because that's what we're trying to do, is spark everybody's enthusiasm and then carry it for the rest of the year till we get to be together again. Awesome.
And so for those of you listening, we'll put links in the show notes for this episode. Thank you again, April and Leanne, for coming on. That's a wrap on this episode of our live coverage from the 2025 Speak Up, Speak Out Summit in Normal, Illinois, presented by the Arc of Illinois. A big thank you to April and Leanne and all the self-advocates and families and speakers and community members who have joined us on this live coverage, this live Special Chronicles coverage from the Speak Up and Speak Out Summit. If you enjoyed this conversation, please follow the Special Chronicles podcast on your favorite podcast app and leave us a review to help more people discover our show. Like and subscribe, do all those things that you do with podcasts. You can watch and listen to all the episodes from this conference on specialchronicles.com/SUSO2025, specialchronicles.com/SUSO2025 to find links to our YouTube channel, newsletter, social media. Thank you both for coming on the Special Chronicles podcast and for sharing your story and experiences with us.
Thank you.
Thank you. And we'll catch you all on the next episode right here on specialchronicles.com.
Yay.
Giving
Yay.
respect
Yeah.
and a voice.
Hi,
Thank
Rob.
you, Daniel.
Thank you.
Hi,
That
Rob.
was great. I'm all
I
excited.
think